Well, no, you know, it was like I said that after the game that it was kind of along the lines of the vision that we'd had, what it should look like a little bit with, you know, a good mixture of spread out sets with some RPOs and run game, and then some good, you know, kind of heavier sets, run the football, play action boots, and you know, it's kind of like what we want to do, and the RPOs were hitting. And we, you know, we had some really good runs to start out with. You know, there wasn't really much that surprised us really. We felt like we could run the ball a little bit on them, you know. And then they had some significant injuries over there on some players, and. But we felt pretty good that we could attack them in the secondary. I just, you know, the only thing that kind of really surprised us was we felt like we could run the ball. We didn't know we were going to be able to, like, run it that well, you know, and that's just a testament to our O-line really played, like, really hard. They physically, that was no fluke. Put the game on. I mean, we physically beat those guys. And Eno just ran just extremely, extremely hard. Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know if that might be the best catch I've ever seen. I mean, one of them, as far as one-handed catches go, because of how as he was catching it, his body's also hitting the ground, which provides a bang and a thud for your body and jolts your body. And I still look at it. I have no idea how he caught that ball. I don't even understand the physics and geometry behind it. You know, he practices that really, like snatching the ball out of the sky. So, like, when we throw him the ball, he practices it all the time. No, I'm not talking with the one hand. I'm talking like he grabs the ball and just kind of like grabs it and pulls it. And so, like, he really works on his hands and his strength and just grabbing balls and pulling them away from defenders, outstretching his hands because he knows he has that advantage on people. And he practices those little details all the time in practice.
Now, his first touchdown, I think it was 2nd and 12. Did you think that you were going to get the matchup that you wanted with him and one-on-one against their safety?
You know, I actually thought they would roll to 2 coverage, and then we would throw the same throw, but probably a beater behind the safety and over top of the linebacker. So that was my thoughts because I had watched film. You know, Friday is a great time. I just get to sit down and, man, if I'm on the road, I go to the local Starbucks and I just watch like 5 hours straight of film and just sit there and watch film over and over and over. And so they had kind of a tendency on their first, second and long of the game to kind of be a 2-shell team. And so I thought we were going to get 2-shell on the first time. Then they have a tendency to blitz you right after that on second longs. And so I thought we were going to get 2-shell, but they went 0. So it ended up working out for us. But the matchup, though, it was the same throw we were thinking. It just happened in a different way.
Did you feel that a lot of teams are playing 0 coverage more than you expected early in the year?
Against maybe later on in the third-ish, fourth quarters against our heavy sets. But USC did show 0 against 2x2 spread out sets, though. They did show that going into the game.
You had before Benjamin's run, you talked about that with the game, you had 3 third-down conversions, including Manny hurdling that guy. Third-down conversions are, that's been one of the issues.
Yeah.
What did you think about just the ability to put that whole drive together in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, that's big, and we made a big emphasis after the Stanford game, or actually before the Stanford game during the off week. We had a huge emphasis on, man, if we'll just pick up some more 3rd and 4 to 6s, you know, we can keep drives alive. We can get people tired. You get defenses fatigued, and you have a tendency to score more points. I don't know the exact stats, but y'all ought to look it up. It's pretty amazing that a team that gets like 1 first down, then the stat for their percentage of scoring after their second. I mean, it's crazy how high that percentage is. And so, you know, you talk to the kids about that. And, you know, Manny did a great job. He took a couple of those on his own, you know, called his own number there on the zone reads and even pulled one down on a pass. And and just getting the sticks and understanding. You'd be amazed how kids don't know where the sticks are. I mean, they have no idea unless you got to coach the heck out of that. You'd be surprised, football players. Like, I don't know if some of them even know it's third down sometimes. Like, you're like, man, dude, it's 3rd and 6, right? Oh, it was, yeah. So you got to stay on those little tiny things with kids, and I think we're getting in that part of the season where their awareness is a lot better.
That was another game where he had 29 carries. He's had, I think, 3 30-carry games. What is it about his durability and his toughness that he got dinged up at one point in that game?
Right.
Back in. What do you think about just what he's putting together and what it says about him?
Yeah, he likes it. He'll tell you he gets better as the game goes on, and and then plus though, it really helps when, like I said this in the past, it's hard to keep running the football when you only get 1 yard. So, what we've done in the past really helps that out and builds confidence and things like that. So, the more we're running the football, we're just going to keep on doing it. And, I've never believed in calling plays just to call a play. And, like you hear in the old triple option, we got to establish the fullback. Well, crap, what if you're only getting 1 yard while you're establishing the fullback? We're not going to do that, So it really helps that, he starts out strong too, because that allows us to have more confidence in the run game. And then we're just going to keep calling it, and keep calling it. And then the lead. The lead too. When we had the lead, that also plays a little bit into it.
Coach, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've answered this, but your take on N'Keal Harry's catch.
Yeah.
And just the emotion and just his ability.
I didn't see it like live, or not live, but I didn't get a chance to see it because I think I'm going blind. But I can't see. Like there's little people running around out there, and I got my glasses and bifocals, and I'm doing this throughout the game, so it's hard to see clearly. I didn't think he caught the ball, and then I saw a flag, and and I was like, what did he do? Push off, being Mr. Negative there, and they were like, no, I think the flag's going to be on them. And then I said, did he catch it? And they were like, yeah, I think so. And then I heard everybody just, the crowd going crazy. I guess they were watching it on the screen, but I didn't get a chance to see it until somebody showed me on their phone after the game, and I was like, wow, like I told these guys a second ago, I think it was top 1 or 2, 3 best catches I've ever seen in my life.
As long as you've been doing this,
Oh, that's okay.
as long as you've been doing this, what are the biggest things like you've learned, or your learning curve this year, or what you've discovered about being the offensive coordinator this year? What are some of those things that have been?
Try not to force players into your system. And I think, little guilty of that earlier, as we all are. We try to find the pieces. And because me and Billy, we work together, but, everybody has their own thought process and how things go and all of that stuff. And everything's got to be built around what your quarterback can do. All right, what can your quarterback do? And then you build your offense around that. And so, probably earlier we were trying to get, I was trying to probably fit Manny into a little bit more of what, I had in my mind of what it should look like instead of, the other way around. Not much, but I think now we kind of we feel good about what we can do. And, because I had some ideas, mostly in the passing game, of what I wanted to do, and, stuff we did with Jared Goff. And every quarterback is different, and Manny has some great attributes that he can do that Jared couldn't do, and vice versa. And so, it just took a little while to kind of figure out what he's good at.
Coach, how does a win at USC kind of maybe reset the caliber a little bit coming back home to play a team like Utah?
Yeah, and it's good we're playing Utah. That we couldn't ask for a better opponent just for the fact that, when you have a big win like that, a big program win like USC, which is big, man. How many times has Arizona State gone into the stadium and in the Coliseum and beat those guys, right? So, so now that we're coming back home, we're playing the best team in the conference. I think hands down, like they're the best all around, all 3 areas of football, offense, defense, special teams, the best team in the conference. And so, I mean, heck, you can't have a letdown, because you got those guys rolling up in here, and they'll hit you, man. They're physical, they're strong. So I think that helps a lot. The fact that we're playing Utah.
In terms of their scheme or style, did they remind you of any team you played earlier this year?
Michigan State. They just line up in a 4-2, or they slide into a 50 front, and they play man coverage, and they do a really good job disguising their cover 2 which they haven't done a lot of in the past, and they're starting to do, and they're good at it. I like it. I think they do a good job of it. And they disguise their cover 2, and they switch guys off. You think it's man, and they do a good job of switching off, and they treat like twins. Like stack, and I don't know if I'm getting too in depth, but a lot of teams will treat the stacks and they'll play the stack DBs over top of them, and they'll switch them off according to how they come out in their routes. They do that with twins, which I haven't seen a lot of people do that, and they do a really good job, and it gives you problems. So, and then on top of all of that, they stop the run. Like, what are they? You said they were 3rd? Is that rushing defense in the country?
They're in the top 3, but the top one in the Pac-12.
Oh, top 1 in the Pac-12. So I mean, there's that's going to be really tough, And so they try to put as many people in the box and force you to throw the football and beat them throwing the football.
Utah is allowing 81.1 rushing yards per game. What does the line need to do for Eno to have another big game?
We got to sustain our blocks. They're very strong, like Stanford. Stanford did a good job of holding the point. They hold the point. And then they two-gap you, and then they wait till the ball carrier gets there. Then they throw the offensive lineman. They're really good at it, and they come off and they make the play. So, we just got to trade blows. We got to be patient. I mean, it's not going to be like, what we did against Oregon State. It ain't going to look like that, man. I mean, it's going to be 1-yard gain, and then maybe a 3-yard gain, and then maybe a 1 again, and then maybe hit the 7-yarder. And you just got to be patient, and it'll come down to what the score looks like as well. If it's even or we're up, yeah, we're gonna just keep on doing it. If we get down, you got to make the decision. We just gonna sit here and keep running into that, or are we gonna try to throw it? So all that stuff plays into it.
Roy Hemsley played a lot of those snaps against his team, and then also Alex Soya is from Southern California.
Yes.
What do you think about just their play and the overall offense?
Yeah, the whole offensive line, I thought that was their best game. I really did, man. You sit down and you watch that film, and it was like, okay, we're going to be physical today. And Alex Lasoya, and I think those two guys particularly, it's good you pointed them out, they played their best game of the season, I thought, both of those two guys. And then Cole Cabral, wow. That was, to me, Coach Christensen might have a different point of view, but to me that was his best game. He had, it was physical, had a lot of finishes, putting guys on their back, pancakes and things like that. So that whole front, set the tone for the ball game.
Going back to Eno's workload, it looks like in today's world of football, college and pros, the running back by committee is, all the rage.
Yeah, sure.
But going into the season, do you expect Eno to be the workhorse, or do you actually want more of a running back by committee?
Yeah, we thought we would rest him more, and then we just, we realized that, hey, he's kind of that special type of running back, and we've all known some, and the great ones, man, they just get better as the game goes on, and he needs a lot of carries because he sets things up. He really does. He sets things up, and so when he runs the counter this way, he learns from it, and he'll come back, coach, run the counter again, okay? I missed the whole. Run it again, like he sees it. He's not just running blind like some running backs and just run as fast as you can and run into the back of people and get yards and get back up and do it again. Like he actually sets people up. He looks. He figures, I'm going to make this guy miss, and then I'm thinking about making the guy miss over behind him. I mean, then those are special qualities of great running backs, and I think he has that.
You mentioned Billy Napier. How much different is what's going on right now compared to what he was doing last year, and how much different are you from him?
Yeah, not as much as you think. Man, that's hard to answer that question. Billy is, first of all, he's probably the smartest football coach I've ever been around in my life. I mean, I've never been around a guy that is that football intelligent about defensive structure and things like that. And, you know, I learned so much from him. And so he likes a higher volume of, like, plays and things like that. And that's, you know, that's great because the defense has to defend all that. They look at all that on film and go, holy crap, we got to work on all that stuff. I'm more of, you know, I guess, you know, from my triple option days and then being in the air raid where you do few things but try to do them really, really good type of deal. And so, you know, maybe my volume of offense isn't as much. And if I could, I'd play really fast all the time. But you got to take care of your defense too. You got to be a team player. And so you got to kind of figure out where you're at. You know, sometimes, you know, you're not good enough on offense to play fast, you know, and it made that and seen that mistake made. So, you know, I think you just got to, you know, to answer your question, he's just more of a higher volume type guy. He's smarter than me. You know, I'd like to think I'm better look. No, I'm just playing, man. I hope he's watching this. But I love Billy. He's awesome. But he's just like one of the smartest guys I've ever been around, and so he kind of likes a little higher volume.
You wanted to play complementary football too, to help the defense.
Yes, and
you could see that from last year.
oh, absolutely. Especially once we got into the last half of the year, I thought we really did. We played well as a team, you know, and ran the football really well. Yep, and that's one thing I learned from Billy, the quick motions, how that helps you. I never did any of that stuff before, so all the quick motions and you know, how it affects perimeter guys and along with the zone read with that and how it affects your reads and things like that. So I kind of got that from him and kept that into the offense and things like that.
Do you think some of what you're doing right now, the learning curve, if I put it that way, is that going to carry over next year, or will the fact that you're going to have a new quarterback,
Yeah.
be so inexperienced in that position, is that
Yeah, you got to morph your.
starting over again?
You know, it could be, and it all depends on who you got. But our system, and I try to explain this, and I know some people don't understand it. Our system is set up to where, you know, if you have a guy back there that's not a zone read guy, you're going to do more RPOs. You know, RPOs to me are zone read. Instead of pulling it and running it, you're throwing it off guys, okay? So you set it up around there. But what you try to do is not make the offensive line do a lot. They need to stay all the same. The skill guys can move around all of that stuff. And so, you know, it all comes down to how you can call it with the terminology and how fast you can get it called and lined up. So it all depends. You can work your system around the quarterback, whether he's a runner or whether he's a, you know, a thrower, or, you know, what you really want is somebody that can do both, obviously. But it's set up to be able to do that.
Some of what's going on right now will carry over.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. We're always going to want to be able to run the football. We're going to run counter, power, zone read. We're always going to do that. We don't want to be and I talked about this after our first game where we got in the game and we were just running zone and it was working. You know, well, there's no reason to do anything else when you're clicking off 8 to 10 yards a pop on the outside zone, you know. But that's not what we want to be able to come downhill. We want to be able to punish. We want to be able to hit. We want to be physical. We don't want to be a finesse offense. We never wanted to be that. All right, and then we want to be able to throw play actions off of that. Then you either zone read or RPO according to what type of quarterback that you have.
Coach, Dylan only got in for the one series after
Yeah.
he got dinged up. How would you assess his performance?
Okay, I'm so glad you asked that question, all right, because my man, I don't know if you guys, he comes in off the bench, right? And I'm like, well, there's no way they're going to think we're going to chunk it deep. So we throw it deep off play action, but he looks the safety off, all right? And then we get a guy who beats his man, and he's coming free right at him, and he looks at him, then he turns back, throws it unprotected, and drops like a 45-yard dime, like, right? And so, and I told the team this. I said, what a great example of somebody preparing for getting in the game, because when we do special teams, and I know you guys probably ain't out there at this time every day, but every single day, Dylan gets about 45 yards deep, and he drops that throw into a net. Every single day, over and over for like 15 minutes straight, nonstop. Boom, 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 boom. And got in the game, and it was just his training took over and just dropped it right in there, right on the – and it was like – I was so proud. It's like, okay, that like coaching that, all right, it works. That stuff works that we've been talking to him about. Like, we're not lying to him. So, I mean, he was so excited, and man, that was just a great play. It really was for him.